Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tribe Daily with Rachel. I miss all of you very much, and hope you are all well. But this evening, I guess, we are looking at Luke chapter 2, in verse 51 and 52. And this is talking about Jesus at the temple, and this is when he was younger. So it says, "Then he went down to Nazareth with them and was obedient to them." And this is talking about his parents, Mary and Joseph. "But his mother treasured all these things in her heart. And Jesus grew in wisdom and stature and in favor with God and men." So just a few verses tonight, not that many verses, but there's a lot of content here. And one thing I want to kind of draw our attention to is sometimes we forget that Jesus was a baby and that he was a teenager, and that he still grew up just like all of us did, that he was a human in that way. And so one thing I want to draw our attention to is Jesus' obedience to his parents. And so he was obedient to his parents and was being born into the law just as every other child. And though he was one that was going to fulfill the law, but he still honored his father and his mother. And in this sense, Jesus also demonstrated his perfect allegiance to God in expressing his obedience to his parents. And one thing I want to kind of touch on before we, finish up Tribe Daily is that we remember that Jesus was young at this point, probably about 12 years old, and he still honored his father and mother, and he knew the scripture very well, and was teaching those in the temple. And one other thing to think on is that this same Jesus that was a child and still obeyed his parents would later be the one who in the shadow of the cross would say, "Not my will, but yours be done," to God, when he was praying in Gethsemane. And so just think about how Jesus was like us and how he grew up just like we do. And in thinking about that, I want you to think about this question today. And it's, how does our experience as middle school students teach us about our responsibility to submit to personal authority over us, especially God's? And one important thing I want you to remember as you answer that question on your own is that we have a responsibility, no matter what age we are, to submit to the authority that is over us and to be obedient to what they ask of us. Because everyone who is set in authority is put there by God, whether it is your parents or whether it is a teacher, whether it is someone higher up in politics or anything. God has put them there. And we have a responsibility to submit to their authority because God has put them there, and God is the ultimate authority. And so in respecting those in authority over us, we in turn respect and are obedient to God. And that is what is most important here. And that is what we see Jesus fulfilling, is that he fulfills that law in obeying his parents. But one thing is, Jesus grew in wisdom and stature and in favor with God and men. And so in his obedience, he continued to grow in wisdom and he continued to grow in stature and favor. And so as we, as adults or middle school students, continue to grow and are obedient, continue to seek God through those above you and pray for those in authority over you, because they may not always make the best decisions, just like we don't, but God has put them there for a reason. And so show them the utmost respect, because in that you are being obedient and showing the utmost respect to God the Father. Hope you guys are doing well, and I miss you all.